Maybe it's not a pizza parlor. Maybe it's a whole godforsaken island. Yesterday's conspiracy theory is today's historical fact, right? And I want to ask you, which one opened your eyes the most? I've been through this. Look, I've told you guys that I used to be more of a libertarian, and I certainly thought, that sounds a little bit outlandish. I tried to approach everything as skeptically as possible and as logically as possible. And sometimes you kind of trap yourself with that, where you sort of look at the odds and you go, that just seems like there's no way it could be true. And then you find out, it is true. So let's go through this, actually. Top 5 conspiracy theories, in my opinion, that turned out to be real in curious coincidences. I think.
Maybe.
And the reason that these are important, too, is because they shape how we view foreign policy. They shape how we view our government. And the top one, number one, I will tell you, is actually not necessarily a conspiracy theory. It's just something that most Americans didn't know. And I found out later on, I was saying, do we actually do that? And it made me lose all trust in the virtuous nature of our government, which when I grew up, I kind of believed to some degree. Still a conservative, so I believe they should be limited. All right, number 5. This is one that you've probably heard of. The claim here is, the Gulf of Tonkin incident, right? The claim was that August 4th, 1964, that the Vietnamese attacked a U.S. naval destroyer, right, the USS Maddox, in international waters, and that led to the Gulf of Tonkin resolution, which involved the United States getting heavily involved in Vietnam, escalation, right? So this was a big catalyst for it. Like, oh my gosh, this is basically them declaring war on us. Here's the truth. The United States government claim was untrue as far as the attack. Mm-hmm. So the conspiracy was that was effectively a false flag. And now the left tries to gaslight you and say, the term false flag, you're using that. You don't believe that shootings happen. No. This was a false flag and that it was orchestrated, or the claim, by the United States government. There was collusion, and there was skepticism right away from naval officers, even President Johnson, who stated, hell, those damn stupid sailors were just shooting at flying fish. And in 2005, so you're going back to the Vietnam War, you're going back to the 1960s, and then in 2005, it finally gets verified. And they go, okay, yeah, that's true. It was a false flag event.
41 years later, it's fine.
Hey, imagine if you find out 40 years from now that, I don't know, and I'm not saying this is the case, Vegas shooting was a false flag event. I'm not saying that it was. I'm just giving you context. Do you understand that there were laws that were changed, state laws in relation to that? Whether it's bump stocks, I'm saying taking something less consequential than the Vietnam War. You guys want to talk about time travel? What kind of alternate reality do you think we split off into if people didn't actually believe that? If it had been questioned at that point, if voices of dissent had not been stifled and silenced. Number 4.
I hadn't heard this one, by the way.
The Gulf of Tonkin?
No, I hadn't heard that it, so wasn't it the second attack that they were talking about?
The second
attack. The false flag. So the first attack
was very small.
It was small, and it may not have been where they said it was, maybe not in international waters, which makes a difference, I guess, to some degree. But I had no idea the second one was just like basically, it almost seems like, hey, deep state, let's go to war. Yeah, let's figure out a way to get in.
And in 2005, when they finally verified as a false flag, Vietnam veterans are still alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, they're lively. They're spry.
Yeah.
We had the draft because of this.
They're watching this and going, yeah, exactly. Some people were forced into this war, watch their best friends die right next to them.
Yep.
And then they're going, thanks. How's my VA claim doing?
Right. Yeah, it dictates how we live now.
We got hippies because of this. Son of a gun.
It's true.
You bastards.
And by the way, all the references are available. Link in the description, louderwithcrowder.com. We do that every day. It's very important with these because I also know people can go down a rabbit hole and then say, well, then nothing is true. Gravity's not real. That's not what we're saying.
Test it out. Find a building, test it out, let us know how it goes. One story.
Conspiracy theory number 4. Epstein Island. So here's what the left will do. They'll take something that maybe is false, that's similar, like some of the lore surrounding Pizzagate, right? Remember that? And they go, see, this is what you can't reason with these people on the right. They think there's some kind of secret cabal run by political elite who are sexually trafficking or abusing children and minors. That's what they did. That was their claim. There's no way this could happen. Well, here's a refresher.
So where did this conspiracy theory start? Apparently, some alt-right folks were combing through Clinton campaign emails hacked by Russia and published by WikiLeaks and noticed there seems to be more references to pizza and pizzerias than they had expected, which can only mean one thing: secret sex ring. There's a difference between a conspiracy and an agreement.
This him at Comet Ping Pong.
And a conspiracy is what villains do. An agreement is what adults do. Look around the country. Wouldn't you agree we need some more adults? So WikiLeaks... Alex Jones, and the subreddit subgeniuses, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, grow the up.
You know who needed some adults would probably be those underage sex slaves at Epstein Island. And not only was no one reporting on it, but it was actually being buried when reporters tried to shine a light on it. I bet you they really would have liked some adults, Mr. White Knight. Yeah, I know you're talking about you don't like the fact that people on subreddits may have some theories that are incorrect, but to simply dismiss all of it while people are being sex trafficked, I don't know if you get to shout from your ivory tower, get up on your high horse. So this is where we were, right? 10 years ago, Epstein Island. It was basically a conspiracy theory, Alex Jones only. That's what we were told. Right-wing conspiracy about all the sex cabals. They put it all in one big pile. And the media, at that point, still gushed over Epstein, I would imagine, because of his powerful friends. Here's a 2003 Vanity Fair piece. My iPad is going absolutely nuts. What's happening?
There's a Siri thing?
It is. You're screwed.
Stop it, Siri.
Yeah.
Don't say the name.
It started listening when you said Epstein.
And it started listening.
No.
Did you notice that?
Yeah, it did.
So for guys, like you can see, like I have here, I don't really have prompter. I just have I have an iPad with notes when I read these quotes. And when we just mentioned Epstein, I'm not joking. You guys,
No.
It was the same time.
Alex Jones. When you mentioned Alex Jones again, it finally came on.
Bing.
yeah, it just came on. Am I going to get arrested?
I think
Probably, let's be
think
honest.
Alex has your iPad tapped.
All I know is this shirt is more relevant today than ever, and every day I get to say that. Like every new day, I'm like, he was right on more stuff. It's weird.
So it's not only that no one had an interest, just to give, there were people behind the scenes, and yes, Alex Jones saying this is going on,
Right.
And then you had people like Colbert out there going, let's be adults. I just hate the evil of the left. It is evil.
Yeah.
Hey, remember they go, look, they want you to fear open borders. It's just that they say they're not bringing their best. Donald Trump says they're not saying that. Racist. Hold on a second. What about the sex traffickers? Do you realize there are more slaves right now on Earth than ever in recorded history? It's over 40 million. You know that, right? And a huge portion of them are sex slaves. You know that. More slaves right now on Earth. Total number than in recorded history. And you want to tell us to grow up? You're going to condemn the people who are trying to track down leads to figure out who's trafficking some of these sex slaves? Grow up. Maybe it's not a pizza parlor. Maybe it's a whole godforsaken island. And the media not only didn't cover it, they're writing puff pieces about Epstein. 2003 Vanity Fair. It's titled The Talented Mr. Epstein.
Well, hold on.
Ooh, I hated that Disney movie.
I was about to say, isn't that kind of a bad thing to do? Because wasn't the talented Mr. Ripley like a killer?
Yeah, but if you read the piece, it's relatively flattering.
But hold on. Did you say there was a picture of Colbert?
I don't have it, but yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a picture of him at Comet.
What are you saying, though?
That he was at the place that he's...
No, I understand, but what are you
Just stop it. Let's not derail it.
Yeah, thanks for derailing the segment, Gerald. That's real great.
So
you're welcome.
Keep producing.
Here's the truth. It was a sex island.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure you guys know that. Like,
Yeah.
We learned that in 2019. It's like, oh yeah, there's definitely hey, adults have entered the building. Hey, there's a sex island here.
Did he ever say sorry? Did he ever apologize or
No.
retract or?
No, none of these people
Did he
did.
ever say sorry? Apparently you were all grown the F up.
Yeah. And by the way, this is the same media who buried the Clinton-Lewinsky scandal. Remember, that's how Drudge came to be, because every single major media outlet passed on it because they were doing the bidding of Bill Clinton. And a lot of powerful people. I mean, you have obviously the Clintons. You have a long list of people. It's always weird when you see a flight with Bill Clinton, Kevin Spacey, and Chris Tucker. That's an odd combination. But I don't know if they went to the island.
Chris Tucker?
It was Chris Tucker. Chris Tucker.
Don't touch his radio.
Yeah, it was Chris Tucker, Bill Clinton, and Kevin Spacey on the same plane quite a few times. I don't think they were doing anything, but just to be clear.
I love Chris Tucker's
It is
interview.
definitely a real place. And by the way, a lot of people here probably, it's well documented on camera, this place.
Oh.
Hey,
That's why he's mad.
That's not.
Let's go to conspiracy here, number 3. This one is, there are quite a few. There are sub-conspiracies, right, that have proven to be true with COVID. Again, all references available. The claim that COVID was a natural virus that mutated and absolutely was not from a lab. You were banned if you insinuated it. We were removed from social media platforms because we stated it. If you were an expert, even when they used to say, well, are you an epidemiologist? Well, no, I'm not, but there are plenty of epidemiologists who actually say there's no way that this virus occurs in nature. But they were removed because the government's looking out for you. And now we get to the truth. The House subcommittee just this month confirmed it came from a lab.
Whoops.
How many years later?
Hey, does that change how we handle COVID? Hey, let me ask you this. Does that change how we handle COVID if we know that it could have been bioengineered? Does it change the fact that the media said Donald Trump was a racist when he called it the China virus? In other words, at that point in time, would you be less concerned with him pointing the finger at China, which I don't even know how that's racist, and more concerned with the nation, an adversarial nation who potentially engineered it and released it? Do you think it changes not only perception, but the next step we take moving forward? That's why the press, when they do the bidding of the government, is the enemy of a free and informed people. Another claim as it relates to COVID, right? They just insisted at this point in time that lockdowns were needed to stop the spread of COVID. And so many people believe this. Even conservatives were calling me when we did 2-a-days during the lockdown saying, you can't do that. It's irresponsible. Everyone's going to die. I was like, I'll chance it.
He loves us.
Yeah.
He really loves us.
And he only lost 4 people.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
But there are 4 that I wanted to lose. So, and this is all under trust the science, the science. And the science went from this likely came from a bat sandwich at a wet market to this can live on surfaces. Remember, everyone was sanitizing their packages.
UPS packages? Come on.
UPS packages. Pickleball became popular because literally they would keep pickleball courts open in Nevada because you could clean the ball and you couldn't clean a tennis ball.
Okay.
That's a big reason that pickleball became very popular. That's how crazy we were at that point in time. It was all trust the science. Then trust the science went to, and of course we have to lock down. Of course we have to shut down businesses, and we have to shut down local markets, but keep Walmarts and keep Costco's open. We have to shut down plant nurseries, but keep weed shops open in Michigan. Right? This was all trust the science. The lockdowns. That is science. And let me tell you this too. You know when I really knew it was BS? Was when Fauci said, "Don't try and make hand sanitizer at home," because it doesn't work with liquor at home. And I said it on the show. I said, no, what he means to say is it doesn't work if it's vodka, if it's 40% alcohol, because you need about 60% alcohol. Hey, guess what? You can buy Everclear, or you can buy cask strength bourbon and dilute it to 60% alcohol. And then what happened when we needed more sanitizer? Guess where it came from? Distilleries. I told you this when Fauci came out and said, you cannot make hand sanitizer at home. I said, yep, I'm not a scientist. Showed you the science. As long as you have 60% alcohol and some way to create friction here, you will be able to use it as a sanitizer. I wasn't a scientist. Trust the science. And these same guys said lockdown. Hey, you think it would have helped you if you could have gone and purchased some alcohol and made hand sanitizer at that point in time? Maybe. Here's the truth. We now know that authorities knew at that time when they were telling you this, lockdowns were going to be catastrophic. They would hurt the economy. They would hurt our health, first and foremost, and school children, and that it had no actual effect on the spread. We know that now. They knew it then. The science knew it then. They certainly knew the ramifications. They certainly knew the negative outcomes. They didn't know that it would have no effect. They knew it would probably have a negligible effect. They did it anyway. Hope it was worth it. For those of you who have children who didn't go to school for 2 years, you're just conspiracy theory. We need adults in the room. Right, Colbert? And by the way, you know how you know it's true? Not just the sources, the empirical that we provide for you, but yeah, in this case, the anecdotal is also quite substantiating. The Varma story that we covered. Remember, he was the COVID architect in New York. He was locking people down. You and your children couldn't go to school while he was having sex parties and strong-arming everyone to get vaccinated.
I actually was the one who convinced the mayor to make it a mandate.
Like, New York City found out that you were having sex parties during COVID?
Yeah, it would have been a big deal. Yeah, it would have been real bad. We went to some, underground, dance party, underneath a bank in Wall Street. and we were all rolling, we were all taking Molly, and everybody's high, and I was so happy because I hadn't done that in like a year and a half, like a year or whatever. And but I was looking around being like, I wonder if anybody sees me, they're gonna definitely, because this was not COVID friendly. So the way we do it in public health is we make it very uncomfortable to be unvaccinated. I don't expect the education to change your behavior. I'm just gonna make it really hard for you to do your job. You can't get a job. You can't go to a restaurant. You can't go to school. It's like, okay, I'm just going to get vaccinated.
So was it technically like kind of forcing people?
Yeah, that's what you do. You force people by making it really uncomfortable.
And who knows the level of STDs at those pharma sex parties. Luckily, it was all actually documented on camera. That makes sense. That makes double sense.
I never hold a glass like that. That's not true.
That's where they got their Molly. Keep rolling.
Sensing a theme.
And we all had to live through this. We all had to. COVID is probably the biggest awakening that I've seen in the public. Here's one to me that is absolutely insane that no one is talking about more. This is number 2. The claim. And you see this a lot, and people just accept it. I will say this. This one is so pervasive that it's actually the premise of how we run government. We absolutely need every dollar that we spend right now. There's nothing we can sacrifice. What do you want to do? You don't want roads? You don't want firefighting services? What, you don't want a military? That's what you hear if ever you go, hey, is there any way that we could trim anything back? It seems like our debt's kind of ballooning here. They tell you every single dime that we have now, we absolutely need, and we need more. That's the claim.
Oh, which one is it? Oh, there we go.
Yes, indeed, the goose is getting fat. We have a big bill here because we have big needs for our country.
For the well-being of our troops, for the preservation of our national security, for the tens of millions of Americans who look to the federal government for a wide range of basic services, Democrats and Republicans must work together to fully fund the federal government.
For our country, Madam Speaker, and our communities in the long term, Congress must enact an omnibus funding package.
Oh, okay. Well, we need that money. That's always what you
Gotta
hear.
have it. Oh, yeah.
Well, do you believe in roads?
For the children.
Then you believe in socialism.
Yeah.
Here's the truth. Okay? Not only do they not need all those dollars, but the new Government Accountability Office report, okay? This is not in doubt. The only portion that's in debate is how bad it is in any given year. But at the bare minimum, in any given year, the amount of fraud, meaning money that we have no idea where it is, how it's been used, or where to track it. $233 billion to $500 billion a year just from 2018 to 2023 alone.
That's just federally too, isn't it?
Yep. Let's round it. $400 billion a year. This is like ghost money. I'm not saying people are going, oh, it looks like maybe actually this wasn't used appropriately. Money that can't actually be tracked. We don't know where it is. So let's call that $400 billion. Hey, you don't think that just starting with that, we could trim $1.5 trillion easily from the budget? That would be a gimme. Just bring forward the shrimp on a treadmill and that kind of shit. All of that. Bring it forward. $500 billion? We don't know where it is?
That's insane.
Do you have any idea how what you are paying in taxes? Picture all of your taxes. Just disappeared. You think, I pay my taxes. Great, it's gone. Now, it's gone. $500 billion a year. And they want us to believe that we absolutely cannot do without 100% of this budget. It's not a conspiracy. This is unilaterally agreed upon and proven. And to me, that's probably the worst one just because that's the basis of our government. When we sit down and have a vote, it's how much more are we going to spend? Very rarely cut.
Yeah. It's not even including waste, like projects that we shouldn't be spending money on.
No, right. Just strictly fraud.
That's somebody defrauding us. That's us going, oops, lost the money. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Like that is absolutely insane. So I'm really glad for Doge, Elon Musk, and Vivek. Like they're probably going to find, what did he say? He wanted to cut a couple $1 trillion from the budget?
Yeah.
I think with $500 billion as a starting point.
And people like Colbert go, this is clown world. We need some adults. You know, I thought we needed some adults when we lost $500 billion this year. It's gone. Where are the adults? You're the adult.
They bought islands.
How do you fix it? The gaslighting that takes place. They want you to believe, oh, this is absurd. Here's the number one for me. And it's hard for me. There really isn't a claim because this was just buried, right? And this is a fact that has actually been apologized for on behalf of our government. But when I heard this, I was kind of embarrassed that I didn't know about this. And I'd love for you to comment when you see this, if you did. You probably do if you watch this program. But I didn't for a long time, until the mid-2000s. Let's just go with the truth, I guess, at this point. The United States government, conducted experiments on Guatemalans by knowingly allowing 5,000 Guatemalans to contract STDs and withholding treatment. They did this in 1946. And part of the way they spread this was by putting prostitutes into the prison system in Guatemala. Put prostitutes in there, ensured that STDs would spread across Guatemala, and withheld treatment just to see what would happen.
A White House bioethics commission has revealed gruesome new details about American-run venereal disease experiments on unsuspecting Guatemalans from 1946 to 48. The testing focused on sexually transmitted diseases and involved U.S. medical officials intentionally infecting Guatemalan sex workers, prisoners, soldiers, mental patients without their permission in order to study the effects of penicillin. The New York Times reports, quote, when some of the men failed to become infected through sex, the bacteria were poured into scrapes made on the penises or faces or even injected by spinal puncture.
Geez. And you can go and look at the record. Barack Obama apologized for this in 2010. I believe that Hillary Clinton apologized for it even earlier than that. This happened. Does that make you question your government a little bit, their humanity? They gave Guatemalans STDs and then encouraged them to have lots of sex. Luckily, it was all documented on camera. Yep.
Come on.
Oh, man.
Guys.
Gerald.
And I know what you're thinking, well, Guatemala, who cares? I don't know if you know this. The United States, they did this to Americans, too. An STD experiment in Tuskegee, Alabama. This is in 1932. Your government deliberately lied to 600, at least, black men about treating them for syphilis just to study the effects of untreated syphilis. So they withheld medication from over 600 black men just to see what syphilis does to the human body. And in case you don't believe me, believe Bill Clinton in 1997, who apologized for this experiment on our own people.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Sorry, right clip. Here's him apologizing.
On behalf of the American people, what the United States government did was shameful, and I am sorry.
I guess that covers it.
Tuskegee. Oh, whoops. I think it's okay though. We did let those guys fly.
Yes.
So we made it up.
Yes,
to
it did.
Sorry about all the what did we give them? Sexual disease. Yeah,
syphilis.
That's our bad.
Yeah, syphilis. Yeah.
Sorry about the syphilis. Here's an airplane.
It's not that this was never a conspiracy, but it is to me because the media never covered it. Can you imagine? Well, people are talking about George W. Bush and Katrina. Remember, George Bush does not care about black people. Talking about how your government isn't looking out for you. And by the way, I agree in a lot of cases. Why wasn't this shouted from the rooftops everywhere? How many of you know this? Check the references. That to me is as evil as it almost gives credence to the other dictators or fascists or totalitarians across the globe who go, "Oh, you think your government's so good?"
Yeah.
You go, "Yeah, we've done a lot of crap." And that doesn't mean that every single person in government is bad, but for this to have taken place, and then for you to be blamed for being mistrusting of them, I think you should be as mistrusting of every institution as humanly possible. Why? Because it's 2024, and any other position would be illogical. A bonus conspiracy, and this is one that just dawned on me last night and has been eating at me, which brings me to double secret coincidences. And he was going to be on the show here today, Mr. Alex Jones, a friend of the show. But I wonder if he couldn't be on the show today because of a legal call, an emergency legal call that he had to get on, or because he was too busy acting in the American classic, A Christmas Story.
Move it a little bit to the right. Yeah, that way. Just a little more to the right. Okay, more. That's it, though. Stop right there. That's wonderful. Hey, Park, what is that?
He's wearing a Cartman hat, too. That's fantastic.
You got that Christmas Story money, don't you?
That's the thing. I don't know. I've always defended him. I don't think he's a grifter, but he's getting... The right hand knows not what the left hand is something doing.
He got himself a leg.
He's got a union card, that guy. I don't know where else he's been, but that is him in A Christmas Story. I have no doubt about it. And it makes me very skeptical of any of his claims as we move forward. No, not everything's a conspiracy, right? We know that. Not everything's really a conspiracy. But I do think that a healthy skepticism of government is good. I don't just think it's a good idea. I think it's necessary.
Yeah, I think when someone in a place of power says, trust me, I think you should be skeptical.
No, you say no.
Yeah.
You don't say yes. Yeah. You don't just say I'm skeptical. You just no.
How about no?
Absolutely not. How about you prove to me that you're not?
It can be followed by two questions that are most effective. Yeah, trust me. Why? Well, because I have a degree, because I'm an epidemiologist and whatever. And then your next question. So the first question is why. The next question is, so? They don't have an answer. Trust me. I've been in the room with these. They do not have an answer.
Trust me.
Wait, no. I can't trust you. I can. Will you provide sources?
No, but don't trust me.
Trust the sources?
The sources. Trust the references.
There we go. All right.
I wouldn't trust anyone out there who doesn't provide the references to you every single day. Every claim they are making. I mean, we used to do that. Think about it. We went from school when we were kids where you had a bibliography, where you had references, and you were actually, I don't know if you had to do this in school, I was taught how to actually check references, how to cross-reference, right? And then when it comes to media, the press, when it comes to government making claims, we don't do that anymore. Nah. We do it to find out how the little bug went ka-choo when I'm in the second grade, but not when we're just supposed to trust you on the single biggest violation of fundamental human rights in the United States in the form of lockdowns and vaccine mandates. Wait, you're not going to provide me with anything? And you're going to remove the voices of people who are? Yeah, I certainly think that when we're at that point and someone says, trust me, the answer is why? They'll list their qualifications. So, especially when it comes to science. Science is not governed by consensus. It is governed by what is correct. There can be consensus that the earth is flat. And if one person is right, that's the science. I see you're still watching. You've fallen right into my trap to continue watching. If you click this video, if you like this, there's probably more like-minded content right there. You can click or just tune in live weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern. Or is that just what I want you to... Is that what I want you to think?